Hello, 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 hello. All right. I don't know what I'm looking like right now. It's a little bright. Hello, 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 hello. Yay! Come on in. Hello, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know where you're joining from. I am actually trying something very new. I'm going live in YouTube and in my private Facebook group. It is Sunday night. Yay! It's time for our weekly reset, and I am so excited. I'm so excited. I don't know. Can you hear me? Y'all let me know. I'm looking at the chat. Let's see. All right. All right. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Listen, y'all, I'm doing something different. I'm going live in my YouTube and I'm going live in my Facebook at the same time. So if you see me like popping my eyes back and forth, it's all good. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Listen, I am not going to be here long as I promised because, hey, oh, Karen. Oh, hi, my sister. Look, I should bring you on camera with me. You want to come on camera with me? Let me know. I will bring you on camera with me. I will bring you on. Yes, I will. Listen, I'm not going to be long. This is something that I said that I would do for the first 90 days of 2026, and that was to do a weekly reset surrounding multiple areas of my life and how I get ready for that week. So I am trying something different. So if you see my eyes going back and forth, it's because I'm looking at my YouTube family and then I'm also looking at my private Facebook group right now too. And I have some friends that are going to be joining me, maybe, possibly. No, we'll see. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So, listen, welcome, welcome, welcome. I want you to take a deep breath and I want you to be reminded that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. You are not an accident. God didn't, He knew what He was doing when He was creating you. He knew that you would be a mother, a wife, a sister, a friend, a boss. He knew that you would have a list of things that you wanted to accomplish. But what He also said was that sometimes you got to reset and you have to refresh and realign at least on a weekly basis. At least that's what I believe. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing that right now. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you guys are joining me tonight. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started. So, a part of what I'm doing is Becoming Her Again, which is a weekly faith reset. And there are categories that I'm talking through of how I get ready for my work week, for my time with, all the people, whether it's family, whether it's my children, whether it's my coworkers, whether it's my dating life, all of the things. I try my best to have rhythm and routines that give me peace and vitality. Hello, hello, hello. That brings me vitality. So I shared with you all last week that I'm using this planner. It's called the Own Your Life Planner. And each week I will map out what my days look like, what my weeks look like, and where I'm getting rest and finding a rhythm of life that makes sense for me. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started with I'm going to circle back to my week. So, last week, the question was, what do you want to remember? And what I want to remember is the importance of having conversations and not letting things linger. And I think the week before I was talking about creating very healthy boundaries. Like I don't want to keep repeating myself when I think that something has been resolved. And when it hasn't been resolved, then I'm just like, okay, did I not communicate that well enough? Because it starts to eat up the time where I could be putting my energy in places that is glorifying God and going back and forth with somebody that can't hear me and I can't hear them, then we have to move on. So I do want to remember that. And then what was something that I learned? I learned last week that freedom brings me peace. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know where you're joining from. So, freedom brings me peace. And I think that when I choose to have those healthy boundaries, I do find peace, joy, and vitality. I am a woman of a certain age, and not because my hair is gray, but because I am. And it's really important for me to know how to choose to have honesty and to also be very healthy in my conversations and in my engagement. Don't leave me, Karen. Stay there now. I'm ready to pull you on the camera with me I'm going to pull you on in about a minute. And I'm responsible for me, like I'm responsible for the things that I contribute to my day, the way that I plan my day. If I don't have enough margin within that day, I can only really blame myself. I can't point the finger at other people. And because I'm choosing to plan in a way that helps me to get things done, whether it is taking care of my body, making sure that I'm having relationships with my children, making sure that my ministry, my work gets done. Tonight, I am just simply giving a weekly update. Okay, so here are some things that I want to reflect on for the week going forward. So we circle back. And then we go ahead and we circle forward. And the circle forward is, what am I most excited about? I'm excited that where I live, it is snowing. And that means that I am probably going to be remote all week long. And I absolutely love that for me. So I'm excited about that. What is concerning me is the rescheduling of some traveling. So I was supposed to travel to Georgia this past weekend, but that didn't happen. And then I was supposed to be going to Dallas this coming week. That is not happening because I don't want to be fighting with the airports. I don't want to be fighting with delays. I don't want to be fighting with canceled flights. I don't want to be fighting with getting to the airport and then having to come back. So, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Peace and vitality is the name of the game for 2026 for me. So as I'm planning my week, I was able to take that travel off of my schedule. So I'm very, very excited about that. Okay. So here's the next question. What is hard right now? And what is in my control and what is not in my control? The thing that I'm probably dealing with the most right now is this empty nest situation. My daughter is full grown. My son is in his second year of college, and I still miss him. I do. I miss my baby, and I do. I try to have check-ins. So I'm going to talk about that before we close out. How I'm plugging and scheduling, because we're talking about resetting, faithful resetting. How I do schedule time blocks for my kids, just to check in. I am not being a helicopter mom in any kind of way, but I do want to make sure that I have them on my calendar, that I can protect that time where I can connect with them. So that is something that I'm scheduling. I am struggling with. What I do have control of is that I can put it on my calendar. What I don't have control of is that one lives one way, one lives another way, and they both are living their best lives right now. Honestly, that's what they're doing. Okay, so what's the one thing that will make next week a win for me? And right now, refining some of the personal projects that I'm working on. So, God is really giving me something to walk through, and I'm walking through it first. And it is becoming her again, coming out of hiding into healing and living the Zoe, the John 10, the God kind of life, Genesis 1 and 2 kind of life. And so, in that, as he is walking me through, I'm getting all kinds of downloads. And so I'm pacing myself to know that I don't have to get it all done in this one month. I don't have to get it all done in this year. So this week, I'm really excited that I'm going to be refining some projects and giving myself some grace and doing something that makes me have a good time. Listen, y'all gonna hear me say it over and over again. Peace, joy, vitality. It is the name of the game. I'm going to fight for it and I'm going to protect it. So, my prayer this week is that I would ask the Lord to help me give to Him all the things that are concerning me, and that I would trust His leading and His timing as I am growing and becoming who He created me to be. I am becoming her again. So, I'm going to show you really quickly. I already have my week. I already have it. And so that is my brain on paper. So I already know that tomorrow I'm going to do a little bit of recording, and then Tuesday through Friday, now because my travel is canceled, I'm going to get an opportunity to dream a little bit more and be a little bit more creative. So I've got margin in that area. Now, as we transition, because we're already on here for 9 minutes, and this is only supposed to be a very quick weekly update as to how I am resetting my week, being intentional with the time that God has given me, and having peace and vitality. So, this is what we call becoming her again, the weekly faith reset. All right. So, obstacles, resistance, and resilience. Some of the things that I was talking through was like, what obstacles showed up this week internally or externally. Was my response reactive or was it reflective? What old patterns tried to resurface? And what tools am I using to actually process all of the things that are happening from day to day? So, again, I have my calendar, I have my planner, I know what my three big goals are for the month of January. That helps me to focus. Quite honestly, I have to keep it in front of me. So I do have it posted in my bathroom mirror. And each morning I'm just reminded, like, these are the three big wins for me. And then I have what's called walls, things that get in the way of me actually doing what I say I want to be able to do. And then, of course, celebrating along the way when I have some wins. So the obstacles, resistance, and the resilience, one of the things that I am recognizing is that every day is a new day. God's grace, His mercy, His tenderness towards me. Even right now, one of the things that I'm reading in the morning is the chronological Bible in order. And I'm right at the point where Job and his friend is going back and forth. And let me just tell you, if you're reading the Bible and you falling asleep, no judgment. But I know for me, when I'm reading it, I mean, it feels like the greatest story ever. So I'm just so sucked in. And right now I'm watching Job and his friend go back and forth about his situation. And yeah, so anyway, I like to read in the morning. And in order for me to do that, I've got to carve out time to know, what time do I need to be up? So I have alarms that are scheduled to say, in order for me to have a strong morning and be able to get to my work week, I need at least 90 minutes to do my skincare routine, make my bed, put my gym clothes on, turn my soaking music on, and get in God's presence. Once I'm done with that, it's time to go to the gym because this body right here, this one temple that He's given me, I got to work it out. So that's what we're doing. So I use my journals, I use my morning time to pause and to reflect. And then one of the things that I journaled this week about reframing what it's like when things start to get overwhelming is that obstacles are not signs of failure, they are invitations to maturity. Let me say that again. Obstacles are not signs of failure, they are invitations to maturity. And God has invited me to anchor myself in a way where He says, God strengthens me in resistance and not just relief. So my perseverance, okay, if you go back and you read James 1, 2 through 4, my perseverance is working maturity in me and bringing me to a place that is helping me to have this peace, joy, and vitality. I am a woman of a certain age, and I am just determined to have rhythms in my life and preparing myself whether I'm going to be married or not, because I am a woman who is dating exclusively. So, just understanding all of the patterns of what it's like to take care of myself, to cultivate my friendships, to care for my children, to be called to my ministry. It's all the things, right? So, what I wanted to share with us before we left out, because this is so good to me, because again, we're already 13 minutes in. There are one, two, three, four, five areas that I primarily will look at when I'm planning my week, when I'm resetting my week, where I feel like I need to make some adjustments, and that's family, my love relationships, my ministry and my calling, health, and my finances. So I want to share a couple of reflection prompts with you, and then at the end, if you stay, you got to stay for the gifts. At the end, there is something that I want to give away to help you do the same thing for yourself, because this is Becoming Her Again weekly faith reset. So when it comes to family, one of the questions that I asked was, what moment with your family stretched you this week? And I don't know if it necessarily stretched me, but my parents went away for a couple of days, and I was just like, hey, are y'all going to be back before this storm comes? Because I was just concerned about them being on the road. And then equally, I felt the stretch of like my children, again, not being a helicopter mom in any kind of way, but I know my son, he is off at college and he has his car with him. And I'm like, hey, get all the groceries that you need. The dining hall is open. There is no need for you to be out on the road. Now, what he does know is that I can see when he gets on the road. So last night, before it started snowing, I get an alert that, he had gone out. And I'm like, what are you doing out? He's like, Mom, it hasn't started snowing yet. So I wanted him to be still. I want him to go on and hunker down, stay in, get off the road. So that felt like that stretched me a little bit, but that's also kind of leaning into me navigating um me wanting to be in control, which really is just an illusion. Where did I feel peace or tension at home? I would say this week again because of the rhythms and scheduling the check-ins with my family and with my dad, which is so funny because again, my dad is retired, so excuse me, he will randomly like call and text and I'm like in a meeting or something, but I still feel at peace knowing that my family is healthy, that they're living the life that they want to live and they're enjoying it, and I have time to be able to connect with them throughout the week. When it comes to my love relationships, there were two questions that I considered again in my planning: resetting, realigning, making sure I feel refreshed, having joy, having peace, all the things. Did I feel seen or unseen this week? And hands down, you see this smile on my face? I absolutely felt seen this week. The guy that I'm dating, he is a wonderful human being, very giving, selflessly. Even as I am speaking to you all now, he is driving people back and forth to work because the weather is so bad that he volunteered to make sure that people can get to work. I know. I'm like, risk your life, baby. Just make sure everybody else is safe, right? Totally fine. But that is him. He is very selfless. But in the midst of all of this week, I definitely felt seen. I actually just got my Christmas gift put together, which was a like jury boudoir, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'll share a picture of that. But anyway, I felt seen. Absolutely. Where did I settle instead of speaking truth? I take a deep breath because one of the things that I love about planning, right? Because I'm talking about planning, I'm talking about how I use this planner to plan my week. And to some people, it may sound a little like stiff or bookend, but I love that I can carve out time when it's a good time to have important conversations. Because even though I am not yet married, I do know that my married friends, they would say, hey, you always got to make sure that the timing is right when you're having the conversation. And so that's why, me reflecting on my week and asking myself questions of where I'm at and where I fit in the pieces of other people's lives and how I'm showing up in those environments and wanting to have joy, peace, and vitality. You hear me say it over and over again. I need to be able to reflect and ask myself these questions. So, I don't think that there was any place where I settled. And I do think that speaking the truth sometimes can create attention. But when you have a foundation where communication is a core essential factor, it does help. So we were able to manage to get through having some conversations that's helping us to grow individually and also as a couple. Now, when it comes to my ministry and my purpose, the two questions that I looked at was what drained you, what filled you up, and where did obedience feel costly this week? And I will tell you the things that drained me this week was like the planning and rescheduling of my travel. That just got a little wonky. Like I literally woke up on Thursday morning and I was in a class, a personal coaching class, and I just started to feel like I needed to not go. Like I'm looking at the weather, I'm sitting in this class, I'm thinking about the 3 days that I'm going to be away. I'm thinking about some of the transitions that are happening, surrounding my ministry, and I'm just like, all right, Lord, is this you? Like the weather is coming. Is this my way out of saying like next time? Go next time. Not to mention, here it is. Talk about a ram in a bush. The day, one of the days that I would have been there was for like this intensive. They're gonna stream it virtually, so I'm gonna be able to still join. I just won't physically be there in the room. So that kind of drained me, yet filled me up in a way. Just trying to navigate the weather and canceling my trip. And thankfully, when I scheduled the trip, I actually made sure I had insurance and credit so I didn't lose anything. So anybody, if my girlfriends are watching, y'all want to plan a trip, I already got a plane ticket. Now here we go. When it comes to my health, one body, one temple that God has given me. How am I taking care of this one body? How am I taking care of this one temple? Two questions. What did your body ask for you that you ignored this week? And where did you honor your limits or push past them? And so I am on a health journey. It started a little bit 2 years ago. I've lost some weight. I actually gained 0.4 pounds this week. And let me just say, I was not surprised because I am keeping track of what I'm eating. I'm keeping track of how much I'm eating. I know how many times I'm going to the gym because I do use a tracker. And I think I may have shared it before, but right down at the bottom here, I don't know if you can see this, I have a place where I can actually circle in the three areas that I'm focusing on. So whether it's like drinking my water every day, reading my Bible every day, going to the gym every day, moving my body in some kind of way, I can see the pattern when I break it. So me getting on the scale every Sunday, I'm not surprised that I gained 0.4 pounds because I didn't go to the gym every single day like I normally do. And I also know that I ate, and don't judge me, I ate a little bit more of the kind of foods, including sweets and treats, that I don't normally eat. So, such is life, but I am paying attention to that. Where did I honor my limits or push past them? Again, like I said, to me, it's lifestyle. So I don't want to feel like I'm trying to put a square peg in a round hole, or I'm trying to force a lifestyle that just isn't natural, or it isn't sustainable. So if I have a cookie or if I have ice cream, it's like, how much of it did I have? If I want a piece of chicken, like, am I eating a whole pack of chicken, or am I eating like one chicken wing or two chicken wings? But am I doing that every single day? So I went back and I meal planned and meal prep. So I bought some chicken breast, I bought some salmon, I have brown rice, I have my vegetables. We good to go this week. So we are good to go this week. All right, I'm getting ready to wrap up. Closing up with my finances. Two questions. Did money bring peace or pressure this week? And where did fear show up around provision? Again, in my planning, I want to be very clear that I'm talking about becoming her again, my weekly faith reset. I'm asking myself these questions, and the questions will evolve over the weeks as I'm growing, because I am paying attention to all of me, like every part of me. And my planner is helping me to write it down and to see, how am I managing, how am I storing my time, my talent, and my treasure. So in this case, when I think about my finances, it's like, did money bring me peace or did it bring me pressure? And I'm going to say, let's just be honest, I still feel the pressure. The reason why I feel the pressure is because I'm like a gazelle. I wish I knew that scripture right now, but Dave Ramsey talks about it. I'm like a gazelle trying to get out of debt. So I already know that for the month of February, I have a goal set number, which next week you got to come back. I'll talk about what that amount is that I want to pay towards my debt, because every day I'm looking to move the needle forward. My planner is helping me. My planner is helping me do that. My planner is telling me where the things should be going and how the day should be going. And it just, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I just love my planner. Don't whether you use it, don't use it. I don't know. But for me, it is working. I'm actually going to go back and read something out of the planner where it says, acknowledging the hard stuff allows us to heal, build hope, and help others. So for me, I am living my life out loud in this moment, and I am paying forward, how I am managing to look at my calendar, look at my days, look at my weeks, look at my months, look at my quarters, think about the goals that I have, how I want to break those goals down. Um, how I can actually measure and see if I'm actually reaching those goals. Because sometimes we are dreaming and then we look up and then another year has come and you're like, what did I get done? Was I productive? My planner is helping me do that. So when I think about my money, I'm also writing down the budget. Like every dollar, every penny needs to have a label, and I need to know where it's at. Now, I'll be honest, I don't have that completely down yet, but I'm a work in progress, which is why I'm sharing this out loud here, in hopes that at least one other person will come back and they'll watch this video and they'll see that as women of faith, as women of a certain age, as moms, as sisters, as wives, we carry so much, but we have to slow down and stop and reflect and reset. And that's exactly what I'm doing on these Sundays at 8:30 p.m. I am coming here showing my journey of becoming her again, the woman that God always intended for me to be. I'm returning back to the woman that was in Genesis 1 and 2, that, took care of the garden and took care of her home and took care of her husband. That's where I'm at. Not married yet, but you get my point, right? The other question, where did fear show up around provision? I wouldn't necessarily say it's fear more than it was awareness, because when I go to reset my budget, I am looking at what's ahead, like what needs to be paid. And some of those things are reoccurring, they automatically come out. And then it's the miscellaneous things that I'm really narrowing down. Where am I letting the money kind of slip through my fingers because I'm not paying attention? Now I am paying attention because I'm writing it all down. So I don't think that fear necessarily showed up around provision more than it was more awareness of like, hey, it's the month of January and your income was more than what it was last month, but yet you still only have this amount that you're able to put either in savings or towards your debt. I got to go back and I got to comb through where did those other dollars go at. So I'm paying attention, and my handy dandy, I can't say it enough. My planner, my 2026 Own Your Life planner, it is absolutely helping me. So all right, I'm getting ready to close out. I wanted to share a scripture with you for the purpose of anchoring our lives and our experience in God's truth. And this is where I am. Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. I am choosing to rest in God. I'm choosing to give Him all of my thoughts, all of my anxiousness, whether, it's the money, whether it's the health, whether it's the finances, whether it's the relationships, whether it's the children, the calendar, because the Bible says a man will plan, but God will order his steps. I'm trusting that. I don't have control, but I am doing my part. I want to be very clear. I'm doing my part to become her again, to be the woman that God has invited me to be. And if there's just one other woman that I can help, really love her life and live the life that is hers to live. I feel like I'm talking really, really low, and I don't know what that is, but hopefully this is coming through. So that is my scripture for this week, Matthew 11:28. Rest for the weary. And I want to share this with you. Many of us didn't fail this week. Okay, let me say this again. Many of us didn't fail this week. We were just tired, and God doesn't correct us harshly, He invites us gently. And so I want to invite you to just think about what part of your life needs God's gentleness right now. Where where do you need God's gentleness right now? He's already gentle, but specifically, is there an area that you maybe want to stop and really reflect on inviting Him into that area of your life? And then the last thing that I will share is that we are replacing anxiety with intention. So when I look forward to what the week is ahead of me, again, I'm thinking about conversations that I need to have that if they're going to take a long time, I need to make sure I carve out the time to have those conversations. Where do I want to lead with love instead of leading with control? That can burn up my days, my hours, my time. When I think about my love relationships, what are some of the boundaries that I need to protect my heart in so that I can reserve my energy to do the things that God has invited me to do? There's so many other things that I want to share, but I'm getting ready to close out. But before I do, I want to gently invite you to visit my website, lashayjohnson.com. And on the website, you can click on the freebies, and underneath the freebie, you're going to see Becoming Her Again, a weekly faith reset. Okay. So the same kind of questions that I'm asking myself, the same process that I'm taking myself through, I've created a actual guide to help you, whoever that one woman is, or maybe man, because I do get men who watch as well. But I've created a guide that can help you sit and reflect and really ask yourself the same kind of questions when you're thinking about how you want to reset your work week, your relationship week, all the things, grocery shopping, paying the bills, time with the Lord. You need a minute. I know I do. And so I want to encourage you, go to my website, click it. It's free. I'm giving it away free. FREE. Like who doesn't love free? I'm just saying, who doesn't love free? You'll click the freebies tab, and then underneath that, you're going to see Becoming Her Again, a weekly faith reset. All right. So thank you so much for joining me on tonight. And for those that will come back, leave me some encouragement. Like I said, I'm after the one woman, the one man, the one person that is looking to live the life that God said that they could live. They could live it. And so I'm paying it forward by sharing my life out loud every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. You can find me here on my YouTube channel at Lachey M. Johnson. And now, because I tried this out with my private Facebook group, you can find me here. It looks like both will run at the same time. I love living my life out loud. I love being an example. Not perfect, let's be clear, not perfect at all, but perfectly imperfect in God's eyes, as I am not becoming something new, but I am becoming who God created me to be. I'm becoming her again. So until next week, I hope you will come back. Leave me some comments. Listen, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? You've been coming, you've been watching, you've been commenting. Come on and join the community. There is so much more in store with what God wants to do in and through our lives. All right. Have a good night.